Hari Om. We'll start with the prayer. Om Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidbaram Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Bande Jagadgurum Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Gurudeva Deva. Hari Om. So after discussing the Mahavakya Tattvamasi statement, the Acharya now provides a meditation slokas where one, having understood, have to contemplate on that to internalize the teaching. That means not only that I am Brahman as intellectually understanding, but also make it as though it is my own true nature. It means I had to claim myself, I am that. And that the meditation slokas in the Viveka Chodamani start from the 255, about 10 slokas are there, and these are contemplative slokas as to be used by understanding it and applying it. Then only not only I am the totality, but everything else has to be a mithya. So Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya, Jivo Brahmaivanaparaha. All three aspects have to be understood clearly in order to own that I am the totality. And we are doing the sloka 258. Bhranti Kalpita Jagat Kalashrayam Swasrayam Cha Sadasat Vilakshanam Nishkalam Nirupamana Buddhimat Brahma Tattvamasi Bhavayatmani. So Brahma Tattvamasi Bhavayatmani, this is I am that Brahma Tattvam. Tat is nothing but Brahman, and that is nothing but I am. So the identity equation that I am the totality. So I am as this cannot be totality as a shariram or using the localized equipment. I cannot claim myself I am the totality. So I had to discard the localized equipment, the sthula shariram, sushma shariram and karana shariram, because they are only the superimpositions, but I am a conscious existent entity, and all sharira are essentially inert entity, and I cannot be that. And what I am looking for is happiness, and I am struggling hard to find happiness through this body, mind, intellect, taking the limitations of the body, mind, intellect as my limitations and trying to solve a problem where I want to become limitless, because limitless alone is infiniteness, infiniteness alone is anandam. So ananta meva anandam. Why? Because any limitations causes unhappiness. So I don't like to be unhappy, I want to be happy. So every object that I like is because I consider that it is a source of happiness. So all desires and all the pravrutti and nivrutti, trying to gain something or getting rid of some object, is only for trying to gain happiness that I have decided that I am unhappy to start with, because I am taking the limitations of the body, mind, intellect as my limitations, and therefore suffer the consequence of those limitations. Why am I taking that I am the body, I am the mind, I am intellect? Because I am not conscious of my own true nature. I have enough half of knowledge but not complete knowledge. That's the problem. If I have complete ignorance, there is no problem. If I have complete knowledge, there is no problem. If I have half ignorant, half knowledge, becomes a problem. So aham jivasmi, I am jiva. So I am part is correct, but jiva is part is wrong. So I have to understand aham brahmasmi, the truth part still remains, and understanding that I am not a jiva but I am totality, that has to be understood, because I stand for consciousness, I am stand for existence. So I am the Satchit aspect, which is limitless. Therefore, because Ekameva Advitiyam, this Upanishad says, therefore I am limitless, and limitless is Anandam. So I am not only Sat, Chit and Ananda. So what I am looking for, not for existence and not for consciousness, what I am looking for is only happiness only. And that I have to discover the happiness by rejecting my identification with the localized equipments, because the localized equipments are limited by space-wise, time-wise and object-wise. So the moksha of freedom from all limitations has to be that it cannot be limited by space-wise or time-wise or object-wise. Then only it is called moksha. So not going somewhere, then if I have to go somewhere for moksha, that means that somewhere is different from what I am, where I am, therefore it is already limited. And there also, if I am going to be occupying a particular deham and space and time wise, then there also different jivas are there, and there is a hierarchy of jivas where Lord Narayana is somewhere and close to him Mahalakshmi, and there are a hierarchy of jivas who are serving him, Garudas and all that, Vishwaksena. They are all much closer compared to, I just came there, therefore I am far away from it, and I had to lift my head to see Narayana. I'm just picturizing, but therefore Desa Kala Vastu Parichinnatvam is there even in Vaikuntha. So that cannot be moksha. From Advaita point, there should not be any limitations on that. That is to by recognizing right here and right now, Ihaiva, using the same body, my intellect, recognize that I am not the body and my intellect, I am pure consciousness. And these meditation slokas are meant for lifting my mind to that direction. That means it is a vichara where mind has to be used to reject what I am not, including the mind itself, and claim what I am. And that's what being here. Bhranti kalpita jagat kalashrayam. So all the whole universe and all partitions, all divisions of all kinds, sajati, vijati, swagata, bedas, all internal divisions are all bhranti kalpitam. It's only due to bhranti. Bhranti is when I do not know the truth, then the mind projects something other than the truth. That's what is bhranti. Bhranti means that which is not a prama, but brahma. But brahma is taken as a prama as long as I have the delusion. So when I do not know that it is a robe, but I know that there is an object. So half knowledge is there, that there is a vastu jnanam, in the sense that there is some object which is 5 feet long and which is soft, and therefore I have some understanding that there is an object. So half knowledge is there, but I do not have the complete details of the object. I have only partial details, that it is 5 feet long, that it exists and it is soft. All those partial attributes which are not discriminative enough to differentiate a rope from a snake. Therefore both are possible, so called sadrusyam. A similarity in the properties are there. That's called the attributive content, or somewhat similar that I am seeing, but the viruddha attributes, the contradictory qualifications I am not seeing. Therefore I take that as a snake, because I should be careful for security reasons. I consider it as a snake. Therefore, it is a partial knowledge and partial ignorance causes this problem. And also, and as long as I am taking that as a snake and not as a rope, because I don't see it as a rope, because the attributes are complete enough to differentiate that it is indeed rope, not a snake, that's not known. Therefore, I know only little bit, and that little bit information, from that only I can say it can be snake. And that knowledge is taken as a real, because now the blood pressure has gone up, and I'm breathing fast, I want to run away. All secondary actions that are resulting from that so-called knowledge, which is not really knowledge, it's a false knowledge, because the truth is it's a rope. So even though it is a bhranti kalpitam, even though it is due to the delusion of not seeing the reality as reality, I am seeing the unreality as a reality, which is not there, snake, I am projecting on top of it, and therefore for me that is a prama. Prama means that is real. So this is a pratibhasika satyam. Pratibhasika means I myself, my mind is projecting something there. Whereas other people may see rope as a rope, and whereas I am seeing the same rope as a snake. And if he says, hey, it's a rope and not a snake, says if it is a snake, if it is a rope, why am I seeing a snake? So he also says, that's also my question. Why are you saying it as a snake? So further inquiry is required to confirm, at least for my sake. I can have a faith in his words and take it, but I would like to confirm myself for my own security that it is indeed a rope and not a snake. For that, vichara is required. Inquiry is required. Inquiry is taking a pramana, put a light which makes me to reveal that object as it is than what I thought it is. So pramana or a means of knowledge is required for me to see as it is. In the same way, I am seeing the whole universe, and universe I am taking it as a real, but scripture says it's not really real and it's only false, and I should have the faith in this pramana of the scripture and reject what is not, because what I seeing is an existence is there. So existence part is common between the what is Jagat and the Sat, the Brahman also. Brahman is pure existence and is also existence but expressed in the varieties of form. So there is a half knowledge is there. What's the half knowledge? The world is, the object is, chair is, this is, that is. So the isness of every object is nothing but the pure existence. So there is a common factor. So there is Jagat, there is a chair, there is a table. So isness is there, that which coming from the Brahman point, but I am taking the rest of it, the Nama Rupa, the attributive content of the object as the real attributes, because the Brahman has no attributes for me to see. So therefore, partial knowledge makes me think that this world is real, the chair is real, and so on, because transactionally it's real, but inquiry has to be required. So this is not a pratibhasika satyam, this is a vyavaharika satyam, similar to sunrise or sunset, where I do see sunrise and sunset, I do experience sunrise and sunset, whereas the science or Shastra says that there is no sunrise and sunset, sun never rises nor sets, it's only earth moving around. So even though earth moving around, I have a vision of sunrise and sunset, but the vision or experience is not really the truth. The truth is, even in spite of the experience, the truth is sun doesn't rise or set. This is called the Ishvara Srushti, because appearance is due to not myself, it is universal appearance of all human beings sees sunrise and sunset, even though there is no sunrise and sunset. Whereas the snake vision is only my personal, because other fellow is seeing rope as a rope, whereas I am seeing the rope as a snake. So this is called pratibhasika satyam, whereas the sunrise and sunset is vyavaharika satyam. In both satyams, there is a sat part is there. There is a half truth is there, and half due to not having a complete information about the nature of the object, and that is called ajnanam. So the bhranti comes only when I recognize that it is the truth is the Advaita, and what I am saying is not really real. Then I recognize that Jagat Kalashrayam, so the whole universe of objects and every part in that is nothing but Bhranti. Bhranti is a knowledge now that it is not really real, but it is only appears to be real, but there is no reality to that plurality. What is there is the substantive, because the plurality keeps changing. That's what is Jagat, that means Jayate Gacchate. Since it's changing, there has to be substantive, which is changeless entity, and changeless entity is imperceptible. Therefore I am carried away with the perceptions, because senses can only see the form and attributes, and all that is only superimposition. That's due to Bhranti. So seeing one thing of plurality, but seeing what I see and taking that as a reality is what is called Bhranti. So, seeing is not a problem, plurality is not a problem, gold becoming into many ornaments is not a problem, but if I say ring is different from a bangle, is different from a necklace, not only from its name and a form, but essence also if I say, then that's called Bhranti. So, Bhranti kalpita jagat kalashrayam swashrayam cha sadasad vilakshanam. So, the whole ashrayam, I am the source for whole thing. The whole world itself is based on me. So how can I be support? Not the individual local BMI is not a support for the whole universe, because I don't support anything, but I am talking about, or the scripture is mentioning about the existence that I am. So existent part or conscious part is the one that supports the whole universe. Existence part in terms of that adhara, support for the whole universe, in terms of without that there cannot be any object. So existence is that which lends existence to every object, and it is self-existing. So how does the existence exist? Because its nature is itself is existence. So it's called, its swarupam itself is existence, but it lends existence to every object, because according to scriptures it itself became many, and it is dictated by the karmas and all that we discussed before. So therefore it is ashrayam for the whole universe, yet itself doesn't have ashrayam. So it is self-supporting. So where does the existence exist, or how is existence is supported? Existence is independent, universal, absolute entity, and it is swata siddham. It exists by itself, and it doesn't need something else. And if something else has to be there, then what is the nature of the something else? It should be different from existence. Only thing that is different from existence is non-existence. We can say it is supported by non-existence. So existence alone was there before creation. That's what the scripture says also. Says this word for ashrayam. So it doesn't depend on anything other than itself. That's why I am in the waking state. The whole universe is supported by me, because I have to say, as a conscious entity, the universe exists. Without me saying it, existence of the universe, at least for me, cannot be established. It's not the saying. I have to recognize the existence through my pratyaksha pramana. Then only I say, yes, there is a chair there, there is a table there, and all that. So however other people can tell that there is a chair there? Why can't the world be established by other people? They can establish from their reference. They have to be conscious entities to establish to their satisfaction. But to my satisfaction, if somebody else says, yes, there is a chair in the other room, says, now I should have a faith in his words. So now the statement of reality, whether the chair exists or not, depends upon how much I believe this fellow. So I had to have an apta vakyam, and I can go, in this case, go to the room and see whether this fellow is telling truth or not. And therefore I can confirm the statement of his by pratyaksha pramana. Arfai, the shabda pramana for the laukika is only the durbala pramana, because it rests on confirmation by pratyaksha pramana. Whereas the Shabda Pramana by the Shastra is not a Durbala Pramana. It is the Prabala Pramana, because no other way it can be confirmed other than by the Shastra, and I had to claim myself that it is, and only test for that is to realize by using the working hypothesis provided by the Shastra. I have to personally experience or recognize or know that it is indeed true. And that's what whole Vedanta is. Every sage, according to them, is confirming what has been said by other sages, and they themselves say, this is what we learned from my teachers, and this is what we are teaching, and this indeed is true from my own experience also. So therefore, it is a reconfirmation by every Acharya, every sage, and that's what is called Vedanta. And therefore, I don't have to reinvent Vedanta or reinvent the wheel, because it's already been confirmed. So therefore, Vedanta becomes a pramana, not the experience of individuals, even though individual may be experiencing this, but we cannot go by individual experience as a pramana. He may be a great sage, but still he has to provide the Shastra as the basis for validation of his experience, because experience cannot be tested. Some say, oh, I experience the Brahman. Well, that's good for you, but how am I to know that your experience is real or not? No, what I experience is in tune with the Shastra. Then I say, yes, okay. If you say that in tune with the Shastra, that means Shastra becomes a pramana, not your experience. Therefore, the faith or Shraddha, Shankaracharya defines as Shastrasya Guru Vakyasya Satya Buddhyavadarana. What is the statement by the Shastra and the scriptures? Whatever he says is confirmed. So Shastra comes first, and then the teacher comes next. And a right teacher is the one who doesn't give his experience as the basis, but it experiences what I am seeing or what I experience is in tune with the Vedanta. So he points out for the student, it is the Shastra Pramanam, not the individual. That's what has to be understood. And therefore, Bhranti Kalpita Jagat Kalashrayam Swasrayam Cha Sadasat Vilakshanam. And it is Vilakshanam, different from Sat Asad. Same definition was used for Maya also. Maya is, it is neither Sat nor Asad. Sannapya Sannam Ubayatmikano, Bhinnapya Bhinnam Ubayatmikano, Sangapya Nanga Ubayatmikano, Mahadbhuta Nirvachaniya Rupa. So that definition of Sadasat Vilakshanam applies both the Maya also. It is neither Sat nor Asad. But here he also says it is Sadasat Vilakshanam. So here Sat and Asat stand for not the pure Sat and pure Asat, but it is the tangible one, which is the gross Thula, but the grosser material, and Asat is that which I cannot see, but it is there, like subtle materials. Both are not that. It is different from any objectification, whether it's a subtle or a gross. And that's what is called Sadasat Vilakshanam. Nishkalam, without any parts. So therefore there is no Swagata Vedas also. Unlike other Acharyas, like Bhagavan Ramana says, it has internal divisions, and internal divisions constituting all the Jivas and Jagat are part of the total Brahman. But here, infinity biologically cannot have any parts. So it is beyond any parts. No divisions of any kind is possible. Therefore it is Sajati, Vijati, Swagata Veda, Rahitam. So it is no difference of any kind. Therefore it is Nishkalam and Nirupamanam. So there is no comparison to it, because it's only one of a kind. So I cannot say it is like this, it is like that. And in the Purana, Vyasa, the Valmiki defines the Ravana Yuddham is like a Ravana Yuddham only. So what say, it's not incomparable, because there is nothing for me to compare. So I am comparing only with the Ravana Yuddham, like Ravana Yuddham only. So that means it can only be compared. Brahman is similar to Brahman, or Brahman is like Brahman. Because infinity cannot be compared with anything else. And Nirupamana Samruddhi, Nirupamanam and Ruddhimatu, magnificent. It's not emptiness, it is magnificent, and that's why it is wonder of all wonders, because intellect cannot explain, and any wonder intellect cannot explain is what you call wonder. Ascharyavat paschati kaschidena, ascharyavat vadati tadeva janyaha. So you want to talk about it is wonder, and that's what the scripture says, Ahavanna, because all sounds will come. So Gurudev used to tell, how do you explain the electricity? Electricity is, it's very, all that you can explain, but fellow will not understand. All you have to do is keep touch the live wire. Then he also starts mantras all, because now you ask him to explain. He cannot explain also, other than he knows what it is. So in the same way, Brahma Tattvamasi Bhavayatmani. So breath Aham Brahmasmi, because no words can reach there, no walk or speech can reach there, but yet it is intense personal experiential knowledge. It is I am. So I can experience myself even in a pitch dark room that I am there. But how do you describe I am there? I am, period. Any other description is invalid because it's only for name and a form only. Brahma Tattvamasi Bhavayatmani Atmani. We'll go in more details into the meditation slokas for the next talk. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.